Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla and my channel name is Bees Bookland, if you didn't already know. Why am I being so awkward? I don't know. Anyways, this video is going to be super casual, laid back. Obviously I'm in a sweatshirt, got my coffee, but I wanted to film this before I start packing up my bookshelf, which I really need to do that, and I'm totally avoiding it because it's going to be so much to pack away. Anyways, if you didn't see it by the title name, which you did, this is the mid-year book freakout tag. No one tagged me, but cheers. We're doing it anyways. So I have read, as of right now, June 26th, I have read 62 books this year, and that's insane. I don't know how I did that so far, but we're rolling with it. Also, sorry for the glare on my glasses. It is what it is. I have to wear them so I can see. Yep. Alright, so let's just jump right into it, okay? It is a tag that I've been wanting to do, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to film it here in our current house or when we move. And I decided I'm going to be overwhelmed, and I'll probably never post it if I wait till we move. So we're doing it now. I'm also going to just put the picture of the book right here because I'm too lazy to get them off the shelf. The first prompt is best book you've read in 2020. So, the best book I've read so far this year is a book that I read back in January, and I still think about it all the time, and that is Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. And that book is insane. It is a roller coaster of suspense and anticipation, and it's crazy. It's like a thriller, paranormal, scary book. It's like reading a scary movie. That's how I describe it to people. And it's still my favorite book I've read yet this year, and I read it all the way back in January. So we'll see if anything tops that. As of right now, it's not looking like anything will. And the next prompt is best sequel you've read so far in 2020. And that for sure goes to no other than A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I loved this book. I loved all 600 whatever pages of it. I think it is a great fantasy romance. I enjoyed the world building in this one of the series, especially. A lot of people don't like that, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super atmospheric and really made you understand the whole world of the books better. So that was definitely my favorite sequel, and I haven't read the third one yet. I need to, but I've heard that one's not as good, so I'm putting that off till the very last second. And the next prompt is a new release you haven't read yet, but you need to, or you want to, or you need to get to, whatever. And I put a couple down. I put Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. I think that's who it's by. So I really want to read that one. It came out this year. The cover is what definitely intrigued me, and I don't really know much about it other than it's about a guy and a gal, and one of them has the ability to something with dead bodies and stuff. I don't know. Basically, I want to read it for the cover. I guess that's that. Wow. Intellectual over here. But I also want to read Opposite of Always by Justin Reynolds. Also the cover, beautiful. I know that's like a contemporary, it's a YA contemporary, I think has romance in it too, but I know it deals with grief. It's about Jack and Kate, and they become best friends, and Jack starts falling in love with her, and then she dies. So that's really sad, but I still want to read it. So it's about his grief, I guess, and dealing with losing someone he was falling in love with. But I've heard great things about that book, so I really want to read it. Also, another book I really want to read is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. First of all, why is that title so long? That's an issue. That title should not be that long. Anyways, I know it's about vampires, and I've heard everyone has loved it so far. Haven't heard anyone say anything like negative about it at all, which that's reassuring. And also, don't know much about it other than it's a book about a women's book club set in the 90s. And this guy comes into the picture and turns out he's a vampire. It's in Charleston, which is in South Carolina, which is where I live, so that's cool. But yeah, I really want to read that one. Also, I don't own any of these yet, but I really want to get to those this year. Alright, the next prompt is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and that spot goes to no other but Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. I loved Serpent and Dove, loved it when I read it last year, and it comes out in September, if I am right. Pretty sure it comes out in September, but it's the sequel to Serpent and Dove. Serpent and Dove follows Lou and Reed. They get themselves into an arranged marriage when Lou is a witch and Reed is a witch hunter. He is part of the, I'm assuming, Catholic Church, and this is like set in the 1800s, whatever, when, you know, super strict rules being Catholic and whatnot. So it's about them, and also stuff is happening in their world and bad stuff's going on, and a lot of connections are made, and well, it's just full of drama, and it's great. So the sequel, oh, and the cliffhanger Serpent and Dove left off on, wow. So the second one is following that. I can't tell you what it's about, or it's going to ruin your experience for Serpent and Dove, but you should read Serpent and Dove, okay? Just ignore the bad reviews, okay? I don't know what those people are talking about. It's a debut novel. What did you expect? Perfection? Because let's be real, that's not gonna happen out of anyone. So read Serpent and Dove, it's great. But yeah, that's the book I'm most anticipated for the second half of the year. I have some others too, but that one is just number one because I loved Serpent and Dove so much. Alright, this next prompt is your biggest disappointment. And I'm sure you guys know by now my biggest disappointment, but that is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I hated that book with a passion. I hate that book with a passion. I think it is a terrible sequel. Six of Crows was so good, and then Crooked Kingdom was a solid 1 star for me. Probably not even that if I had a choice in giving it 0 stars. I hated it. I don't see why people like this better than Six of Crows. And people say, oh, it's because of the characters. No. There was no character development in that book. Everyone's like, oh, it's about Kaz and Inez, you know, their love. This is a slight spoiler, so if you haven't read Crooked Kingdom, just skip ahead a little bit. But the last 20 pages of the book, that's what made y'all happy? Kaz and Inez, the last 20 pages? Y'all, that book was trash and you don't want to admit it. Okay, moving on. Alright, the next prompt is the biggest surprise so far this year. And I would definitely say for me that is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, because I've never read anything by Brandon Sanderson, nor have I read a sci-fi. Was that my first one? No, it wasn't. The final 6 was. But Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I loved every second of that book. It is so fun, and if you're new to sci-fi or even fantasy, read it because it is so good. He creates a world that is super immersive and tons of great characters. And one thing I really appreciate is that every character in the book, you get character development out of them, and also you connect with all the characters, even the side characters, which I really appreciate, because if you're going to have a big cast of characters, you need to have connections with all of them, or else it's just kind of pointless. So that was my biggest surprise, just because I didn't think I would like a space themed book, and I loved it. That is definitely way up there in my top probably 3 of the year, I would say. It's really good. And a favorite new author, which this could be a debut author or a new to you author. And for this prompt, I chose, like I said before, Brandon Sanderson. I think it was a good place to start with his writing, and I want to read his other books, and I think I made a good choice starting in his YA series, so I can build up to the adult, 800, 900 page books. Also, really love Sarah J. Maas. Reading the ACOTAR series really made me a fan of her and her writing. I know not everyone loves her, and that's okay. But so far, in the 2 books I've read by her, I love her. So, also Kristen Hanna, she wrote The Nightingale. Her writing is super, super good. She can write a story that makes you super emotional while also connecting to the characters and having a good plot. Great immersion into the world she's built. So I really like her. I need to read her other books. I've only read The Nightingale so far. I have The Great Alone. I need to get to that too. Also, Angie Thomas. I read The Hate U Give. That book changed me. It is amazing. Definitely one of my top favorites of the year. So, and Angie Thomas's writing is very relatable and real. It never makes you think, oh, this isn't, this isn't real. Like, it's very raw. It's like she writes like you are in that person's life and experiencing what they experienced. So she's definitely one of my new favorite authors. I can't wait to read On the Come Up, hopefully soon. But yeah, so those are some of my new favorite authors. New to me, obviously. They have books, and they've had books for a while, but they're new to me all this year. The next prompt is newest fictional crush, and I don't have one. I don't really read a book and I'm like, oh, so dreamy, That's just not my personality. So I'm going to skip that prompt because I don't have an answer for you. The next prompt, newest favorite character. Definitely Spensa from Skyward. Love her. She is so quirky and nerdy and hilarious. So I really enjoyed Spensa. Also, Rhysand from A Court of Thorns and Roses, Court of Mist and Fury. He's just funny, and he gives me Damon Salvatore vibes, and you can't go wrong with anything Damon Salvatore vibes. I mean, The Vampire Diaries is amazing, so I have to love him, and those 2 are my new favorite characters so far this year. The next prompt is a book that made you cry, and that would definitely be The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I bawled like a baby at the end of that book. I've never cried so hard over a book in my life. It's super emotional. Everyone loves it. I've never seen a bad review of that book. So yeah, I cried like a little baby, and it is what it is. The next prompt is a book that made you happy, and I guess for that I would say A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Not that it's a happy, uplifting book, but it made me happy that she even wrote this book and published it. So yeah, I loved the book. A lot of people didn't, but I enjoyed it. So it made me happy for the fact that it exists. I don't read a lot of like fluffy feel-good books. I read a lot of sad books. I quickly found out when I created my answers for this, so I guess I should read some happy books. The next prompt is the most beautiful book you've bought or have been gifted this year. And I would say Starfish. I really love the cover of that one. I think the jellyfish are super pretty and I like the color scheme. A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. Also, that cover is beautiful. I'm currently reading it. I'm only like 30 pages in, so I don't really have any thoughts, but that cover, stunning, stunning. Great. And it's a short book, which we all appreciate. So those two books I think have stunning covers and I love them. Alright, and the last prompt is, what are some books you need to read by the end of the year? And I have a lot. I'm trying to read all the books that I've had the longest this year, which I haven't been very successful at that. My original goal was to read all the books I own, and I just keep buying more, especially with quarantine. That did not help my case one bit. So, some that I absolutely need to get to because I've had them for way too long would be Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Self-explanatory. It's like the classic thriller that everyone loves. Never seen the movie, so I don't know the ending, which apparently that's great. If you haven't seen the movie, you'll still love the book. So, I need to read that one. Also, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. That is Olivia's favorite book, and I still need to read it. I've had it for over a year now, so I really need to read that one. Also, The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. I've had that one for way too long too. Still haven't gotten to it, which, again, I need to. And Chain of Gold. I want to read that one by the end of the year because it follows the Infernal Devices, and I loved that trilogy so much last year. So, I need to get to that one. I mean, but it's one of those books that you have to pick up at the right time. Like, you need a little bit of fulfillment in your heart after like a certain book leaves you hanging. That's when I would pick up a book like that, because I feel like it would just comfort me and put me back into the Shadowhunter world. But anyways, that's all that I have for this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned for house tours, I guess, or like decorating videos. I'm gonna do a move-in vlog. But yeah, I'm super excited for our new space. It is like 3 times the size of where we live now, and super blessed by everything and everyone that has contributed to our new house. So I'm excited for the new setup too. I'm gonna have 2 bookshelves like this. Ethan's gonna build me another one. I'm so excited to have a whole reading room. It's gonna be great. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel so you can see all these house videos I have coming up. And thank y'all so much for the support and love so far, and love y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.